Hello and welcome to another John Park's workshop. It's me, John Park, and here we are at year's end, just like it says right there. Now that I look at it, this sounds a little ominous, you know, here we are towards the end of the year. It's actually going to be the last John Park's workshop I do this year, so it felt sort of final in that way. Hey, robots. Hey, okay, you're on. Nice to see you in the chat. I'm checking out all of the good people over in our Discord chat. If you want to join in on the Discord chat, you can head over to adafruit.it/Discord, and you'll get an instant invite to the Discord server. I believe we have something in the neighborhood of 26,000 people. Is that right? On our servers? Tremendous. Another thing I'll mention is if you notice my audio sync go out, let me know, because I'm going to kick and restart this software and see if that fixes things. Yes, my fingernails are extra fancy today. Thank you for noticing. My daughter painted these last weekend for some filming I'm doing, but I decided to keep it because, oh my gosh, it's so shiny. I never wear nail polish, but how do you people who wear nail polish not spend all your time being amazed at your nails? I guess it's because it's new and novel. Look how shiny that one is. It's very shiny. I lost the little gems. I had some gems on there. They're gone too. Let's see. So, okay, good. It looks like our sync is good. I don't have a new project for today, by the way. So I mentioned that, yes, we're doing kind of a year's end, sort of a wrap-up. I do have the a MakeCode Minute to do. I've got a game pick of the week, so some normal stuff. I'll show my product pick of the week from this past Tuesday, so I have that. So there will be some normalcy. But then beyond that, I have some cool, fun projects that I've been working on that I will talk about, some things I'm excited about working on in the future. I'm going to close this pocket. And if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat. Let me open up my YouTube chat. I can keep an eye over there too. But I'll, like I said, be primarily over here in the Discord chat. So yeah, let me know if you have any thoughts or questions or things you wanted to chat about. And let's get to it. So first of all, I'll mention that we have a jobs board. If you haven't seen it, head on over to jobs.adafruit.com. I'll head there now. That's what it looks like. And in the jobs.adafruit.com is entirely free. You can post jobs that you have openings for. They can be contract work, full-time, and so forth. And you can also post your resume if you're looking for work. I'll notice here we have a new one since last week. It's the Director of Resource Development at the Python Software Foundation. And it's a telecommute-based position in the US, and it's full-time. So if that sounds like you, have a look. There it is, free job board at jobs.adafruit.com. And let's see, the next thing I want to do is I'll do a little recap of my product pick from this week. This is it right here. In fact, I have one I'm holding. I have one in the browser there. That's the AS7341 light sensor. It's a 10-channel light sensor. It has little tiny fiber optic-y guys inside of that package that are looking at different wavelengths of visible light, 8 channels of visible light, clear for lux, and a near infrared. And these are usually used in things like smartphone cameras to do white balance and other color matching. But I did that as my product pick of the week this week. Look at that multispectral sensor. How? And let me show you a little recap video from that. It's the AS7341. It is a multispectral light and color sensor. It's actually good for both emissive light, so trying to figure out the color of a bulb of some kind, a monitor. It's also useful for reflective light off of diffuse surfaces. If I take one of these bulbs and hold it over, you can see there the values that it's getting in the red Here we can pop a green one on there, and again, you'll see the graph change. That is my product pick of the week. It is the AS7341 multispectral light and color sensor in Stemma QT format. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my Stemma QT wall of goodness, and that's going to do it for this week. And hey, look, I'm blinking. Aren't these cool? I picked these up at the hardware store because I needed something to put in front of the multispectral light sensor and get some cool readings off of it. These fun little bulbs here. So now I'm going to have to switch between all the million modes. Look at that crazy. All right, let's get to, where's the off mode? There we go. Set that over there. So yeah, have you noticed we started decorating early this year, like somewhere a little before Thanksgiving. We decided, what the heck, it's the year 2020, and we're just going to go ahead and start decorating for Christmas now. So I didn't really decorate in here. I should decorate the shop, but in my house, yes. Let's see. All right, so next up, what have we got? Oh, wow, Mr. Certainly says try around Halloween. Yeah, I don't judge. Start decorating for Christmas at Halloween. Besides, it's, you know, you've really got a pass there because of The Nightmare Before Christmas. It really opened the doorway to blurring those holidays. So yeah, I'm good with that. All right, see, next up, let's jump into the MakeCode Minute, because this is a cool one. This was one actually. I was looking for ideas, and your friend and mine, Toddbot, in the chat, hey, there he is. Hey, Toddbot, he suggested this project. So thanks for the suggestion, and let's jump into it, shall we? Oops. There we go. Got audio and everything. Okay, check this out. Are you ready? I think I'm ready. For the MakeCode Minute today, I wanted to build a project that can sense the length of a Neopixel strip. So here I have a Pi Gamer, and I have a Neopixel strip plugged into it, and sometimes you don't know exactly how many are on here, and you're going to have to just go through and count them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I have actually 2 strips plugged in. I'm going to take the end of one strip, hold it over the light sensor, and then I'm going to press the A button. And right there it told me I have 30 Neopixels in this strip. Look, I can do it again. It's so much fun. All right, and now I'll go to the full extreme end of this. Hold that up, hit A again. And you can see, even though I told this sketch that this could be, I think, 99 or 100 on here, what it does is it lights each Neopixel in a row and then checks the brightness level on the built-in light sensor on the Pi Gamer. So here's how it works inside of MakeCode. You can see, let me jump over here to my sketch. What's happening is, on start, I set some variables for the length of the strip and set up the strip, and I set up a counter display using those 7-segment counters. And then this initialize function, which I use a few times, which sets the brightness very high, 255, and it sets the pixels off to start with, and then blanks out some variables. Then when I press the A button, we initialize, in case we've run this previously, and then we've got this loop here. It says, while not done, so it's a variable that's initially set to false. It runs through, it checks the pixel count against the maximum, which I set, I think, to 70 or something. And then it lights a pixel, changes the pixel count by 1, pauses a little bit, takes a light reading. If the light value is over a reading of 100, then it sets that done counter or variable to true, and it's going to stop there. If not, it continues on through until it reaches whatever the maximum is. I didn't want this to run forever. And then it will allow me to also do a couple of other things with the button presses. I can just clear it again with the B button. So you can see there, that just sets it to begin. And then I have a little bonus things with the up and down arrows. So if I want to just light this strip up to a certain point, what I can do is take a little count up to there. So that's the 11th pixel. And then I can press the up arrow and light those first 11 pixels yellow or down, and it'll light them red. And so one more time, if I press A, and take account of this first strip. We have 30 in that strip. So that is a really cool way that you can determine the length of a Neopixel strip or the ID of an individual Neopixel inside of MakeCode running on the Pi Gamer. And that is your MakeCode Minute. Sorry, just realized I was audio off. All right, starting again. Yeah, so very cool project. Thanks again to Todd for coming up with that. You know how this goes, though. Sometimes you just have a long strip on here. You don't have any idea how long it is. If you set your maximum to something higher than, take a guess. It's probably not more than 100. This will work fine. There may be a more elegant way to do that, but that's what I came up with. And then to be able to go and pick some pixel or the last pixel, and you can see it. Let me hold it up because it's satisfying to watch. Oh, there's my audio alert going off. I think we caught that. So here you can see it in action from a little further out. Let me go to this full view here. I'm gonna go, let's say, to the last one here. I'll hold that to my light sensor, and this also holding that pixel up there kind of blocks ambient light from there, so that works pretty well. And let's reset this. What have I done now? All right. I'll set second to last one on there. It should work. Oh, you know what? I think I've wiggled something free because it's not actually lighting up pixels. Let me turn this off and on. I got ambitious there. I flew too close to the sun. All right. Try this again. Okay, yeah, it's not lighting that first strand. I think that has wiggled free. Oh, that's a bummer. Let me unplug it and replug it. There we go. All right, you can see it running through there, and boop, it stops. And I also got some little color changes going on there. So it starts out as magenta at first, and then, I better hold one up here, and then it gets to cyan there when we're finished. So very cool project, and kind of practical too. I think you could probably extend this, let me set this over here, into some other uses, but I actually think that if you're doing large-scale LED projects, things like this are fairly useful. I've seen at Disney, I've seen a project that Per Hovey, the guy some of you may know, Per Hovey came up with that allowed you to characterize a huge ton of addressable LEDs just by using optical camera recognition. Now I can't remember the OpenCV, whatever it's called, the thing that uses cameras to look at stuff and be able to have out of order NeoPixels turn into sort of a gridded order. So what the heck is that called? OpenCV, right? Open Camera Vision? Open Computer Vision, that's it. Yeah, I think I used OpenCV. Yes, so thank you again, ToddBot, for that one. And thanks to the chat for letting me know that I was muted, as well as, I think, C. Grover for beeping my alert system there to let me know. It's not John Park's workshop if I don't forget my audio at some point, right? All right, so next up, let's take a look at a MakeCode Arcade game pick of the week. I'm going to swap over for a moment, actually, to a Twitter page here. How about, whoops. How about that one? That'll work. Okay, so this was from the MakeCode Twitter. It says, calling all athletes, coders, and Space Jam movie lovers, Bugs Bunny wants to become a pro baller like King James LeBron. He needs your help. Using power of code to create your own basketball video game with MakeCode Arcade so Bugs can practice balling. So if you click on this link, it'll actually take you to a built-in MakeCode Arcade tutorial. So there's a system inside of MakeCode that you can use to create tutorials that guide users through. And I won't take you through all of it, but I'll show you just the beginnings of it. If I click OK here, it'll say open the scene toolbox drawer and drag the set background image block into the start block. So you look for scene, set background, and you'll see it can limit what things show up in there, which is nice for a beginner. And then it says, go ahead and click next. Then it has you go to the gallery and pick oh, mine didn't show up in there. Hey, let's try to refresh that. It should have a basketball court available. It's not. All right, well, let me jump to my finished one over here where hopefully those graphics do still exist. There you can see it. Okay, so this is, I'll go full screen on this. So this is the game you end up making with this tutorial. You can pick, there's a Bugs Bunny, LeBron, and I forget, I think there might be one more player. You can choose their sprites and some different ball artwork, 3 different sort of colorways of ball artwork. And it's a fairly simple game, but it takes you through how to make a game where you end up with a random position each time the character sprite overlaps the ball sprite, and you get a point each time that happens, and a 10 seconds timer starts counting every time that resets. So if we let this go, let's say I'm having a very hard time getting to that, I've grown weary of it, it will end the game. I don't know if you'll hear it, but it'll do wah, 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 wah. And there's your score of 27. So very cool. If I hit my edit code, you can see those backgrounds. So here's this Space Jam: A New Legacy background. Here was the LeBron sprite. If I go to gallery here, let's see if the other ones show up. No, they're not. Okay, I did something funny with how I loaded this page. But if you go straight from that Twitter page, you should end up with the full tutorial experience. And I thought that was a really cool, really nice look at how the tutorial system works inside of MakeCode, as well as a fun tie-in with a new Space Jam movie that is coming, I believe, soon, probably. So that is the MakeCode Arcade game pick of the week, and it is the Space Jam tutorial from the MakeCode Arcade team. Very cool, very nicely done. All right. Let me close that down, and Open Cat Videos. P. Curry in a Hurry says that's what OpenCV is, Open Cat Videos. I'm surprised, I'd be surprised if that doesn't exist, frankly. All right, so I will show, so this was my project that I'd started working on last week, and I just put the guide out for this. And you can see I have it running right here on my MagTag. It's telling me my show, John Park's Workshop, is currently streaming until 2 p.m., and that's based on my local time. This will, after the show, it will update and tell us that the next show is coming up tomorrow, and that's going to be Scott's Deep Dive with Scott at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And this project, if you look at the code there in the guide, it will use your local time as a starting point, but you have a JSON file that you can edit. And since I had that kind of just in a beginning phase last week, I'd like to show the Learn guide so we could, so we can take a closer look. So let me open up a browser here, and I'll show you that new Learn guide. Let's see. Oh, it didn't like that at all. What happened? All right. How about this one? There we go. Wow, that one went crazy. Did I hide it? I did. I minimized it so it went all crazy. Woo! What's going on, computer? Let's reset those. How about... Yeah, is that the right one? No. That one, and that one. There we go. So on learn.adafruit.com, there's a guides/latest page. This shows us the latest guides that have come out. And here you can see this MagTag Weekly Showtimes event notifier. That's this project right here. I've got the magnet feed on it, so I keep sticking it to different things in the workshop, including that pole I have hanging down. Here I've done sort of a time lapse. I cheated, and I just updated it in code to change the fake time. And I'll show you how that works in a second, so that I could get some stills and take make a GIF out of that. But those are gonna update in real time in the real project. Let me move this window over just a little bit so you get the full view. Yeah, that should work. And okay, so if you look here, we have the code, the MagTag Showtimes display page. So I'm going to head there. I will make a note, something we noticed yesterday, there was a new library. Now I think it might be Portal Base. New library, Portal Base, came out and people started adding that to projects. If you are like me and you add that library to your MagTag but don't update the other libraries, you'll run into an error. So Melissa and Kattni we were chatting about this yesterday. I think we're going to add this. I think Anne is going to add a note in the guides about this. But just a warning, if you are doing a MagTag project, or really any project in CircuitPython, it's not a bad idea when you add a new library to just go ahead and update all the libraries that are in there, because there may have been changes beyond ones that you've read about or heard about. So those are the libraries that are on here. Here is a little image of what your drive should look like with the files. So as you may know, we put these pieces of code that go into Learn Guides up on GitHub. And GitHub allows us to create a little link inside the guide that, using our embed code, that gives you a project zip. If you click on that project zip folder or link, you'll get a zip file which you open up, and it'll contain all of the assets that are used in the project along with the code. So in this case, there's a BMPs directory with all of those images, graphic images for the backgrounds, as well as the font file, the Arial Bold 12-point font file. And then looking at this code, I'm gonna, we looked pretty much, the code hasn't changed much other than how it's accessing that JSON file. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scroll down here to the JSON file. So this is it right here. I can actually zoom in so you can see that. So this is pretty cool. This is the JSON file that lives out on the root level of the MagTag. So this is an offline project. It's not actually using the internet, other than I think to get the time. But we're not using the internet to go and grab the show times. Instead, this is a little local file, which means it's really easy for you to edit. You don't have to host it somewhere. You can just edit this local file. So if you had, 6 different events that you wanted to remind yourself of when they're happening, you can simply update the names, the day of the week, the graphic if you want to put different BMP graphics in there, and as well as this start time and end time. So the product pick of the week show is on Tuesday at 1 o'clock my time till 1:30. So that little chunk of data there, that constitutes the data, the key data pairs that you need for the main code file to go and look through those and figure out, based on the current time, which one is the nearest, and that's the one that gets displayed. Or if we're in the middle of one, it'll show that as currently running until its end time. So then there's a little description here about how that all works, including using regular expressions to sift through that data, using fake time. So you'll see here there's this variable called fake time. We set that to be false so that we use the real internet time, but if you are testing things or cheating like I was to make that GIF animation at the top, you can instead use this time.struct time and feed it. I just updated the day of the week and the time, did that about a dozen times. Each time I did it, I took a new photo of my my project there, or my MagTag, and then I was able to make that GIF. So that is how that works, and you can go ahead and build your own if you've got a MagTag and be updated on all of the Adafruit show times. It also beeps right as a new show is starting, so you can keep an eye on it, but it'll also warn you that a show is happening. And I should also mention this goes into deep sleep mode, so it's pretty battery efficient. I've got that running off of a LiPo battery, so you may be able to go a few days without needing to charge it. I haven't tested that yet, so I'm not sure, but as you probably know, e-ink displays don't use any power to stay at fixed at an image once that image has been displayed. They don't require power to stay there. So, all right, so that is a little update on that project. And let's see, the next thing I want to do is talk about some little current projects and products, as well as some stuff I'm looking forward to. I'm going to head over to the bench cam, actually. And surprise, surprise, I've got a bunch of synthesizer-y things that are up and running here. And let me put these glasses away. I don't need them right here. This is kind of cool. So I know I've talked about and I've done some projects with my pocket operators and sending them clock, which keeps them in sync. I just got this new thing this is from a Tindy seller that I really like called Paketo, P0K3T0, very elite. And he makes a few variations on these little sync splitters here. And I can zoom in on this one. It might not, yeah, there we go, it even focused on it. So this sync splitter does a very specific thing to the way the pocket operators work, which is over a stereo cable, they output sound on, I believe, the right channel and clock on the left channel. And this allows you to take the clock from one and then run it out to 4 others and send its audio, just its audio, to a mixer. And then each of these separate pocket operators each are sending just their audio out. So super specific device. I've used some other splitters and combinations of mixers and things to try to do this before, but this one is really elegant. It costs $10. It's even got some diode protection to prevent, I think, the bleed of the clock click track out over this stereo one. So this is a pair of stereo outputs that are just the same signal, the right signal, I think it is, on both of them. But that's that. If I can give you a quick demo of it. If I turn on some things here, I'll turn on a little amp. And so you'll see I'm arming these 3. That means they're waiting for sync from this one. And the sync could be coming from anything that's plugged into here. Let's see. Maybe. I think I need to, there we go. So these are all running, they're all running up through the mixer. And you can see if I don't think I had them armed before. If I arm them, you'll hear a ton of noise, but it will be in sync. And that's all running that clock sync through this lovely little guy. So I'm very excited about this. I thought it was going to be a kit. It was not. He made it in advance, so $10, and it's pre-built for you. You can't really lose. And I think he also makes one that has 7 and another that has 9 or something. So if you really have a bazillion pocket operators, the reason this matters is that the sort of normal scheme, and it works for a couple of them, is that you wire them one to the next, but the audio portion of that is kind of getting difficult to manage, and the quality starts to go down. You start to get quiet on some of them. So it's better in this case to run them all out, all their audios out to a separate mixer. And that's one of the reasons I'm excited about this blue box from 1010 Music that I mentioned, is that I'm able to run all these guys and a whole bunch more in and mix all that stuff, run effects on it, and so on. So that's one of my picks there, and that's a Tindy store. As you may or may not know, Tindy is part of the Hackaday family of sites and products and companies, I think. And they allow independent sellers of cool handmade electronics stuff to put all of their wares up for you on one site. So I've bought a few different things from Paketo on Tindy, always very good. All right, next up, so I want to talk about an in-progress project. So I think I talked about this before, and actually before I move on, let me know if there are any questions in the chat about this. Oh, thank you, Todd Bot posted to the Paketo link. Very cool. Mr. Certainly is asking, so what even, sorry, let me jump back a second. What even is a pocket operator? These are really cool little synthesizers. Some people would say they're sort of toy-like synthesizers that are also sequencers. And so if I take this one out of its sync mode, I can just play it on its own. So these allow you to, based on the different pocket operators, and these are cheap, between 60 and 80 bucks usually, I think. They have sort of different sounds that they're either sampling or synthesizing in real time. I think it runs on an STM chip in there that's buried under this display. And it has different sounds. This one, for example, has a bunch of sounds built into it, but they can be sequenced. So that's what happens when I'm playing is that there's a bunch of those different sounds that are sequenced across 16 beats of this track. So there's ones that make different types of sounds. This one's bass stuff. This one's lots of drum stuff. So that's what pocket operators are. And yeah, this is very specifically a pocket operator thing. There's also the Korg Volcas, which are little desktop synthesizers in the $150, $200 range that also end up getting hooked up often into similar little setups and require sync. So I think you can do the same if you are syncing to a Volca. You can run out to a bunch of Volcas and other things like pocket operators. So yeah, if you're not familiar with it, I did a MakeCode Minute about this a little while ago. Clock sync is kind of what makes the world go round in a lot of synthesizer stuff, unless it's MIDI, and then it's MIDI clock sync. But clock sync in this case is a little 1 volt square wave that has a duty cycle of whatever your, I think it's 2 pulses per quarter note in this case. So you get these little clicks, click, 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 and that's what we're sending around, and they're all listening on one of their channels for that, so that they're not running wildly at different tempos. They're at the same tempo at the same time, locked in. So that's what those are. And let's see. Okay, so another thing I wanted to mention. Let me jump over. I want to get that screen off of there. I think I may have shown this a little while ago online, but I don't know if I showed it here. Let me take the cover off of this. So I've built a little gizmo here, and this is essentially it acts as a pair of as a bridge for 2 USB MIDI host devices. So things like an iPhone and a name your desktop sequencer or synthesizer, or even 2 iPads, they both want to act as the host for MIDI stuff, so you can plug a keyboard into them and drive them, but the 2 hosts can't talk to each other. So there have been a few variations on this kind of project. In fact, OK You're On in our chat, he makes one that uses a pair of teensies. The idea here is that since most of our simple microcontrollers, in this case my starting point is a trinket, since a trinket M0 can act as a USB MIDI host, if we have 2 of them talk to each other, they can, or rather can receive data from a USB host. So an iPhone can talk MIDI to a trinket, and a trinket can talk serial to another trinket, and then talk USB MIDI to another host. This is something that allows me to pair those things. So there are a lot of cool sequencers that you can get on your iOS devices that'll drive to other things, but normally you just can't plug an iPhone into a sequencer or a synthesizer, or an iPhone into an iPhone. So this lets you do that. And I'm gonna let me unscrew the little case I made for this. The reason I'm excited about this, and I know not everyone's excited about synths, but that's okay, because the reason I'm excited about this thing is that it is the first time I've designed a PCB for a microcontroller project and then actually managed to successfully flash the chip. And in this case, like I said, it's acting like a pair of trinkets, essentially. But it actually worked. Using a little J-Link Seger programmer, I was able to get a pair of Cortex M0 at SAMD21 E18, I think it is, chips on there. And let me show this in the overhead. So I'm actually changing the name. I think I'm going to call it the USB MIDI bridge. I decided I didn't want to go with Hostess, and then our good friend Thea of Winterbloom, I think, has a project called MIDI Hostess coming. So that won't be the final name. But this is essentially from here over, this is a trinket, and from here over, this is a trinket. And then in the middle, I have a pair of resistors running from their TX to RX, and this guy's TX to that guy's RX. So they're communicating over serial. and then telling each other to send or receive a MIDI message that came in over USB. And so on the back here, I have, these are the programming pads. So I have the, what are they called, SMC and SMD, or SWD, SWC and SWD at 3 volt and ground, and then just a duplicate one over here. So really you can think of this, so you cut this in the middle, it's just a pair of trinkets, but laid out a little slightly differently, but essentially the same parts. Some of them might be a little bigger because it was easier for me to solder. Some of them I wish I'd made bigger, like these dot stars, which are nearly impossible to solder. And I think, let me plug in, you'll at least see proof of life, because one side of this I actually got that dot star successfully. There we go. So it won't do much, but you'll just see it turn on when I turn it on. But that shows up as a trinket, and I won't demo it right now, but if I plug in two USB cables into this little micro USB, they are then bridged. And this, maybe I showed a version of this that I made at one point that was a pair of trinkets. This was Todd Kurt's idea originally and his implementation. And I think if Todd's still around in the chat, maybe you can throw up the GitHub for the code for this. This is actually running in Arduino. And I can't remember what the reason was, if there was a reason we weren't able to do this in CircuitPython, but this is running in Arduino. Maybe it was a speed thing, but so there's essentially one Arduino sketch that you run on both of them. They're both running the identical code, and then they're just acting on their own transmit or their own receive lines over serial. And that's it. I'll show a demo of it maybe in the new year once I've spun up a new version of it. I think I'm going to go with an easier to solder dot star. I was even thinking of making some of these to sell, but it may be so niche that I'm just the only person who needs this. So, but anyway, it was really incredibly exciting to get those flashed. There's oh good, thank you, Todd. Todd has thrown up a page on this, and in fact, I'll click on that and show it here. Let's see, which page is that? Is that this one? Yeah, there it is. So MIDI host to host, he called it originally, and you can see that's it. It's just a pair of trinkets that are sharing ground, and then transmit to receive and receive to transmit with a resistor in the middle for safety and decoupling. Todd's being modest and saying, I just did the code. The code is really simple, but it works, and thank you for that. So if you head here, you can see, here's the Arduino code for it. Uses tiny USB and MIDI libraries, and sets up some instances of the hardware serial to talk between the two. I think I've got updated code that does some blinking of those dot stars depending on which one it is. I think blue and magenta or something like that. And I don't think I've posted the... we have a fritzing diagram. There's the fritzing diagram of it. And I did make a carrier board that you can just sit two trinkets into. But we'll probably, maybe I'll put a post up about this sometime. There was some really great info also on Todd's blog about getting the J-Link programmer working on this chip. And then remind me in the chat, it was... not the Seger that ended up working in the end. It was some sort of open OCD, I think. Is that the name of it, that we used to flash them? And the idea here too is that I'll if I have to program a lot of these, I'll make a little jig with pogo pins to set onto there. Anyway, that was a huge personal triumph, and I was looking through my history on this project, and I think I designed the board back in March, and then COVID happened and things slowed down a little bit. I did solder one half of it up, but couldn't get the chip flashed on it, and so I put it away, and then just about 2 weeks ago I spent some time on a weekend getting it up and running again. So that is my little USB MIDI bridge and its stories. That's a project that I'm working on that I'm excited about. And then the last thing I think I was going to talk about, and again, if there's any links or questions or things in the chat, just let me know. Thank you. Yeah, Todd says that board is nice looking. I appreciate that. I should talk about that just a little bit. This was I designed it in EagleCAD, and I had the boards made. I made 3 of them at Osh Park using their After Dark PCB colorway, which allows you to use this clear solder mask so that you can see copper through, which is a lot of fun. Much of it, as far as the hardware goes, was just me re-implementing the trinket design. So there's no difference. I think it's probably pretty similar to the Gemma as well. Thank you, DCD. Said, way to go, JP. We can celebrate. Yay. I also, I ended up making just like a little acrylic case that you can see here with some standoffs that went on it to hide some of the innards away, and I've got some holes in there so you can still get to the reset buttons, but that shows off some of the little board design there and kind of keeps it still fairly compact. Yeah, some googly eyes on the microcontrollers would be nice, huh? Anyway, this is a weird one, right? Like, I'm sure there's more efficient ways to do this other than to design a design that's based on 2 boards, just being 2 boards still, but on 1 board. But that's what I did. And yeah, so that was designed in Eagle and made at Osh Park, which they do some really nice stuff. All right, and then let me see if I can. I don't know if I can open a link to this, but maybe I will. And if OK You're On is in the chat, maybe you can throw me a link of something to show. I am excited about. I'm going to beta test a project coming up that is a design of OK You're On's, who goes also by, what's your website? Noreko? I think it's noreko.com. I'll get a link up here in a second. But he's taking mechanical key switches and using them as a little MIDI sequencer. It's like a little minimal board that could also act as like a 2-octave keyboard, I think, something like that. Oh, there you are. OK You're On. Yeah, Noreko, Dan, what the heck is your website? I can never remember. Dan made the Fates Norns DIY kit that I may have shown on here before. That's how the music actually at the beginning of this show is something I did using his Fates product. He does a bunch of cool synth stuff. Okay, here we go. I've got an Instagram link. I'm gonna show that. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is exciting. I'm gonna be beta testing one of these things. Let's throw that up right there. And wrong one. Not there. Oh, I put that into the, hold on a second, I put that into the wrong. Bear with me. That one. There we go. Okay. Let me do some window management there. So check that out. You know I love mechanical keyboards. Let me hit play on this. You probably won't hear music. Oh, you might. Let me turn that. It slaps. All right, I'll turn the sound down for a second, but you can see there, sorry, I know the window is kind of small. I won't try zooming in on it without tempting fate. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll zoom in on a bit there. So you can see it's mechanical key switches. It is, I'm probably going to use some Cherry MX silent reds for it. These are some reds, but the ones that are clear, like the silent reds that are meant for RGB keyboards, that's what we need to let the light shine through, because there's some tiny little addressable RGB LEDs under there on the PCB. You can see there's some potentiometers and an encoder, I think. And I don't know, what's the microcontroller on there? Okay, You're On in our chat. Can probably answer that. I think it might be a Teensy. Where'd all the text go? I think when I zoomed up, I lost the text. Hold on. Anyway, Denki_Auto, that's another of his, this guy has so many names. Denki Auto, I think if you look for that, you'll find his store. These are not up yet. These are kind of in beta. he probably, if you go through his Instagram, you'll find more about the Saga. Okay, it's running on Tinsy 3.2, very cool. And I think right now it's acting as just MIDI. I think he was looking into maybe some control voltage and gate, but it's pretty cool looking. I love it. I feel like the mechanical keyboard people will love it too and not even want to do music with it, just use it as some sort of very strange abacus entry device or something like that. Anyway, that's a project that's coming up that I'm looking forward to playing around with in the new year. And what projects are you looking forward to in the new year, I ask? Let me know in the chat if you've got projects that are upcoming that you're looking forward to. And Dance's CV is working too already. That's excellent. So one thing I'm looking forward to is actually happening next week. And so that's going to be the AdaBox 17 unboxing. That is coming up next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the 23rd of December, so please tune in. Can you believe it? AdaBox 17 already. It feels like we just did AdaBox 16. We have sold this one out, so hopefully you ordered it already if you're looking to get one. Sign up for the next AdaBox after that if you haven't. Yeah, 17 of them. Can you believe this? That's a lot of them. We've been doing 4 a year now for 4.25 years, I guess. And I'll be doing the unboxing. We'll get to see all the great, fun skits and comedy routines that I try to put together for these. I don't want to oversell it. I don't know. Maybe it won't be funny at all. It might be funny. We'll get to see all the stuff that's in the box. That's going to be great. Some projects that are made, some live demos, which is excellent. It's the best part usually, right? Because who knows what'll happen. And that really helps us keep the lights on at Adafruit. So we really appreciate your continued support. As PT has said, we didn't know if we'd be able to keep doing AdaBoxes as the pandemic arrived just in time to push back our planned AdaBox. I think we had one that was going to come out right at the beginning of April, and that just came out now in October, late October, I think it was. We did that last one. So yeah, here we are at 17, and we've got plans in the works. So we're happy to see that people are still interested in these. We think they make great gifts for people who are getting interested in electronics, as well as veterans who just want to have the latest, greatest new stuff. And let's see. Todd says, do it real serious in a black suit, black and white video. Okay. I can be serious. You know that, right? You know I can be serious. Can't really be serious. Or can I? No. Yes. No. All right. So yes, that's coming up. So please tune in on Wednesday. It's going to be a lot of fun. 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Pacific Time. That's December 23rd. Let's see. What happens if you go over to the AdaBox webpage right now? You can go to AdaBox.com. Yeah, so we just have info still about AdaBox 16 on there, so we'll be updating that. There's a link there on getting started, and I think you can, yeah, if you sign up now, you'll receive AdaBox 18. It says here at the top, which is going to be shipping in March of 2021. So we've already started putting our thinking caps on for AdaBox 18, but 17 is coming, and that'll be this Wednesday. So please tune in if you're interested. You can tune in as Lady Ada and PT said, tune in just for the enjoyment of it. Even if you're not getting an AdaBox, you might like some of the parts that are in it. And as you know, these are usually parts that you can get in our store even after the AdaBox. Yeah, so, thank you. DCD says, looking forward to the unboxing. Thank you ahead of time for your efforts. Yeah, I've started working on that, and that's what I gotta do when I get out of here is do some filming and some editing. So that's going to be coming up on Wednesday. All right, well, we're just about out of time. I I was thinking of maybe going the full hour just so we can see this thing roll over. What do you say? We can probably find some stuff to chat about for 8 minutes, and then we'll see that change. Let's see. Can I rearrange? Yeah, I'm gonna remove a pipe clamp so that you can see that in the foreground. How about? I've got a big. I like these in the shop. I've got these big pipe clamps, and I use them not just for clamping stuff to stuff like wood projects, but actually just for holding things like cameras. So let's see. If I put that there, can you see that there? There you go. Yeah, you can see that. And hopefully I don't whack my head on that when I turn real quick like. All right, so I don't know. You know any jokes? If we're going to be here for another 7 minutes now, what else should we talk about? Bye, Jim Hendrickson. Jim Hendrickson says, bye, see you next week. Unless he got faked out because I sounded like I was wrapping up, but now I'm going to play around here for another few minutes so we can watch this thing change. Oh, is Tanu doing a deep dive today? Sometimes he does that on Thursdays. Yeah, all right. So maybe I should get out of here, and you can just take my word for it that this will change over because I don't want him to crash into my stream if he's trying to get up and running. Does anyone know? Answer me in the chat if that is the case. I think he might have mentioned something about that. Let me see if Showtimes knows. Showtimes. Yeah, that's the regular. Okay, so I don't think that one gets updated when things change. All right, let's see. Todd Bott and Mark Gambler are typing. Thought it was today. Okay, yeah, I don't have my Discord shareable right now. So, all right, I'm going to get out of here then because I want Scott to have the time. Oh, Scott says I can wait. Okay. All right. Okay, I've talked it up so much now. We've now got to wait and see. Hopefully this works. This is the one. Okay. This is the one thing I'll have to tell you. I've been doing some of these MagTag projects. Sometimes I don't know when a e-ink thing has, died or stopped working because the e-ink isn't going to tell you. It's happy to just like display the last thing it displayed before something went horribly wrong. Toddbot's asking in the chat, what is the biggest JSON file that the ESP32S2 can load? Tanute, who knows? Yeah, I have, Lady Ada's looking into this. I'm working on a project that grabs from the ESPN API, which has JSON files for things like all the major sports leagues. So if you want to look up like what football games are happening this week, you can get that from the API, the ESPN API. But the JSON files are huge, and they may be causing issues with loading into here. So Lady Ada is looking into that. I'm sure it'll get solved. What are the owl eyes that you see in the top? That looks curious. Oh, you know what? That was a DJ project I did a few years ago, actually. This is the Pizza Box DJ project. It was based on, I think, a Domino's commercial where they had built a playable pizza box. So this is it's a pizza box, a legit pizza box. I think I even got it from Domino's. And you can see here I stenciled it with conductive ink. I named it the PZ1. Has a circuit playground, classic, in the middle there. And the conductive ink traces run to the different capacitive pads. And I used it over USB to control Tractor, which is a digital DJ software. Had some like re-trigger, play, pause, and then these acted as record scratch based on conductive proximity. And I got DJ Qbert to sign it. Hard Rich signed it. Is that Qbert? That might be Qbert's signature there. So that's what that is. There's a link if you want to check it out. Let's jump back over here. Go to Learn. And I'll show you what I'm looking at here. Let's see, we should be able to look for the PZ1, right? Yep. There it is, the Circuit Playground PZ1 Pizza Box DJ controller. Here's the fun part. I actually made some stencils for I was not going to get those kind of lines freehand, so I cut some Mylar as a stencil, and then went in, and you can see there what I did. I think that I would need a touch-up on that to make it work now, because I think that paint has dried out to the point where it's not making a connection to the circuit playground. So I probably have to touch it up with some conductive paint. I'm not sure about the main stuff, but I know the junction between the box and the microcontroller, I need to blob on, essentially glue it on with conductive paint to get that to work. But that's what that is. And yeah, Juan Carlos says that's a good project I can do with my nieces. Yeah, if you look at the Bear Conductive website, they've got projects, and we sell it or used to sell it, so there's probably some projects in the Adafruit Learn system for conductive paint. A lot of fun, especially microcontrollers that have a capacitive touch pads that you can access. I'm pretty sure you could do most of that type of a project now with something like MakeCode as you're coding. And this is similar to some of the stuff with Makey, although I think that might be resistive and you have to hold a ground wire. But you can do these kinds of projects with copper tape as well. So a lot of fun to do those types of touch projects. And the fact that the microcontrollers can do USB HID stuff, so keyboard things, USB HID mouse stuff, as well as HID or USB MIDI stuff, means that you can get like really fun results on a computer, make a computer do something based on like a big fun touch controller. Takes it beyond, ooh, 1 minute countdown, thanks, okay, you're on. Oh my gosh, the pressure, I really hope this thing works. Come on, thing. I'm tempted to open it in a serial monitor to look, but I think I won't mess with it because sometimes that'll restart the board when I open it. So we'll just see. Yeah, I've got mere seconds now, right? I don't know how many seconds into 1:59 we are, my time. Yeah, so that's that project. That's the Pizza Box DJ project. I also have up there, you might be able to see it, a Mario star there that I 3D printed, and that has a gemma, I think a gemma and a little Neopixel ring in there. So I need to fire that up and put it on the top of our tree. All right, so the time has just changed. And we'll give this thing a grace period of 30 seconds or so. Let's see. It should beep and then update and tell me that the next show is starting tomorrow. It won't know that Scott has moved the show today. So we're not grabbing that data online anywhere. We're just using that fixed field. Okay, so that's as long as I'm willing to wait without opening up a serial monitor. So let's pop over to Adam and check what's going on. Here's my Adam session. All right, so screen, dev, TTY. Oh, I should make sure you can see this, though, in case it updates while I'm sitting here talking to you. All right, let me uncrop. Actually, I'll just move this thing. How about? Okay, you can see it still says me. I'll stand here. DTY USB. It's not plugged in, of course, so I gotta plug it into. It is plugged into power, so it should have updated, but I need to plug it into USB in order to see what's running in the serial. Oh, look, it just updated. I swear that wasn't for me plugging in. I think it was the timing. I swear it just changed. It was not from this being plugged in. It had power anyway. All right. Yay, it updated. I just had to scare it by making it think I was going to do something drastic. Thank you. Yeah, Mark Ambler says he saw it update before I plugged it in. Oh, good. So that says coming up on Friday at 2 p.m., which is actually a lie. I'm sorry to say that's not accurate. It's actually today that it's happening. Andy Calloway says still more reliable than the Twitch bot. Yeah, so that worked. Yay! I don't know why I didn't hear it beep though. Oh no, because it didn't start yet. It'll beep when it starts. But this is this is going to say it'll start tomorrow. Tan Newt, Scott says, I think I turned Twitch bot off. Oh, it was coming from if this, then that. All right. Good. Well, I'm glad that that worked. Is it? It looked like it was updating again, or was that just it glitching for me? So there you go. And Scott, if you have a different logo, tell me. This is something I derived from one of your YouTube. Yeah, why does it keep doing that? Is it running low on power or something? I'm not sure. I see it updating. It should not be updating. But there you go. That is it in action. And then tomorrow at 3 o'clock, it'll tell me the show is running, even though that's not true. All right. Well, thanks for sticking around for that. Fun to see that one actually happen in real time. And like I said, come by on Wednesday for the unboxing. It'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Pacific Time on December 23rd. Instead of your usual Ask an Engineer, it'll be an Ask an Engineer takeover for AdaBox 17. And that'll do it. This is the last John Parks workshop for the year. I will be doing a JP's Product Pick of the Week on Tuesday, so you can tune in for that at the usual time, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. And then I will be off until the new year, and I'll be back the first week of the new year on a Thursday, whatever day that is, to do the next John Parks workshop. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming. Mr. Certainly says, thank you for an awesome year of shows. Thank you for making it awesome, for supporting us, for coming and being part of the community. It's a lot of fun. I'm sorry, I've been ignoring our YouTube. Oh, good. The chat is really not happening in YouTube. It's happening in Discord, so that's good. One place to watch. But I thank you all, anyone watching us anywhere and anyone buying stuff from Adafruit to help us keep this thing going. That's very helpful. People who contribute, people who use our tutorials, people who write tutorials. We are really happy to be part of this community. I'm excited to be able to get to do this with you and for you. So thank you again so much. And that's going to do it. So for Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park. This has been John Park's Workshop, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.